I might be an adult. I'll just have to face it. There's the reality of it. I've grown up a little bit. It's crazy how that works. I've actually gotten better at communicating, just on my own, um, dealing with people and talking on some coherent level where I can communicate my thoughts without tripping over myself and stuttering and then breaking down and falling apart. And I can advocate for myself. I don't have to fight so much, and I don't have to run away so much and retreat so much. I can, I don't have to aggressively stand my ground, but I can stand my ground. And if I need to, I can always walk away if I have to. That's always an option. But at least I can have some composure, um, and apply what I've learned. And and a lot of it has to do with, surprisingly, for whatever reason, the word that fits is diplomacy. So advocacy and diplomacy are the words I've kind of settled on. And so today I was talking about something else, and I mentioned being proud of my brother for his life and what he's been through, and something that happened for him today on the 4th of February 2021, so that'll link into something else. But I was also thinking about how I was proud of myself for how I had been handling something else that's been going on. And today I, did something, and I feel like, I'm proud of myself for how I've been adapting and innovating my own communication and my ability to articulate and turn my thoughts into words and language that convey and represent my feelings and emotions and viewpoints and values and beliefs in a coherent manner that represent me to the best of my ability at this point. So it's like I'm doing myself justice. I've never done that before. That's new. It's like groundbreaking. Like doing my thoughts justice. I just always used to feel so desperate to communicate and just couldn't. I didn't have the ability. And it's like being able to be responsible and admit my feelings in the first place, and then be able to communicate and articulate them without placing anything on somebody else, just being responsible for my own self. But then also being responsible and, saying, it's like, because if I don't say it, then who else? I mean, I have to talk. And, and if people, they can react and do whatever they want to do, but I have to say, I might never ever have another chance. So it's like when the opportunity, when the feeling is true, I owe it to myself to tell people, because I might never get another chance. So it's like if I feel something, I have to tell someone. Um, I mean, with some grace and tact, because not always is it welcome. So I can err. I mean, I have the wiggle room. That's the other thing. It's like I was thinking about the other day. It's like I do have wiggle room for expanding knowledge and perception, room for growth, room to be right and room to be wrong. Errors in perception and understanding, miscommunication, all that stuff. But doing my thoughts justice and being responsible for myself and my ways of thinking. So, and I feel like I've kept my dignity, and I've been true to myself. So you know, I've got my honor, and then as well as that, the other words that came to mind was loyalty. So it's like I stick with based on what I know, and what I think and what I feel. It's like I will be like loyal. I stick around. You know, based on instinct or uh, intuition, or just yeah. And then also respect. You know, so sometimes it does involve guesswork, but I know what it's like to be me, and I know what it's like to not be able to talk, um, and to be trapped, and to not know how to say things and not know how to deal with things. So, based on my own experience with uh, being myself, um, respect that I don't know what it's like for anybody else to be themselves. I only know what it's like for me to be myself. And if I detect or sense that somebody else may have similar problems or um, sensibilities, then I will not presume to understand what they're going through. I won't presume to understand what they think or how they think. I will look for the similarities and try to speak to that. Because, if I already sense that I'm mirroring and echoing what they have to say and have that connection on some level, then, you know, I can only empathize with what they're going through, but not understand. So, and also it's like, I've been dealing with this for a lot longer, so I'm much more familiar with um, what I've learned through trial and error, um, and I've had to grow up fast too. That's always like been part of my stories. Like I get thrust into situations where it's like I'm out of my element and I have to adapt or well, my old solution didn't work. So now it's like, well, I have to adapt or perish, really. So I choose to adapt. And, and part of what's going on now is I get to practice choosing to believe not what makes sense, and not what I want to believe, or not what I think I want, but choosing to believe, for me, a lot of times involves what I can live with, which is quite a lot. But sometimes it involves choosing the least harm. Like what hurts less. Because I can take my perceptions and take the littlest thing and just run with it. It doesn't do me any good. It goes against all the other things. But I can like pick out one thing and so it's like, why? And even if that turns out to be like the true, it's like, it still doesn't do me good and it doesn't change anything anyway. So keep it simple. Just stick with what I know, and if that turns out to be incorrect, well, it's incorrect. And there's nothing I could have done about it anyway. I've done everything up to this point to the best of my ability, and if there was anything else I should have been doing the entire time, I would have been doing it. If there was anything I could have been doing this entire time, I would have done it by now. If anything, I've said too much and I've done too much. But it's neither here nor there. It is what it is. So it's actually kind of scary. So if it turns out it was a good experience, I wouldn't have changed it. And, you know, it is what it is anyway. And it's not a defeatist attitude, because there's no lose situation. You know, sometimes things are, but this is not one of them. Because I can't lose anything if I've only, gained in experience. And I can't lose something I never had. And I can't lose something that was never there to begin with. Only my perception maybe was there. My feelings were there, but, if that's one of my problems in recovery, then it's a good problem to have. Getting my feelings back, yeah, it hurts. Sometimes it does. But I also get my feelings back. So it's cool. Feeling, what the hell is that about? I repressed, I suppressed, I depressed for so long that I don't know what to do with myself sometimes, and other people don't either. So I can kind of come on strong and be overwhelming, and it might even be intimidating. I don't mean it to be, and I tend to lavish attention, and I have to find myself like backing off on purpose. Like, okay, I'm just going to go silent now. I'll let them make contact, because if I pursue and persist to constantly be making it, it gets tiring. Not for me, because I don't mind, but it might come off somebody else as being, oh, this person's so exhausting because they're constantly pestering. But my thinking is like, well, how else do they know that I care? So, unless I'm constantly pestering. But that's probably incorrect. Of course, I just don't know that because I don't have the experience to back it up. But I'm learning that. But each person is different. So, like I said, if these are the problems I'm having in recovery, then they're good problems to have. They're living problems of the living. So I'm glad to be having the problems of the living instead of the problems of the dying. I used to only have problems of the dying. So this is about coming back to life, about choosing to live, about having a better life, about having a life worth having, a life worth living, a life worth sharing. So if this is part of it, then count me in. I'll roll with it. I'll run with it. I'll live with it. I don't have to like everything, but so anyway, I'm just on a tear right now. Don't ask me why. Well, you can't. It's between you and me. It's all right. We just had our regular meeting, Thursday night. Men's closed. Anonymous. And it was just highly productive, I guess. 7 of us. And, just, I don't know, didn't have any breakthroughs, and no one got any more or less, sober. It's just, we just, spent time helping each other out, I guess. Letting each other know that we're not alone. We all have problems. We all have, stuff going on. But, drinking ourselves to death, or, you know, drug use in any, like extreme, with all of us, our drugs of choice, we didn't use them recreationally. Well, we might have started when we were, they might have been recreational at first, but then at some point it went from recreational to death-defying. But we kept up with it because that's what we got used to. And each of us, like what we did and how we lived, should have killed us. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but not all of us get a chance to come back. Not all of us have stories to tell. You can't go as far. Not everybody gets to come back. And they're still capable of telling their story. Some of us get damaged beyond all hope. They don't make it. Some of us, that's a different story. But I don't have the energy for it, or it's going to be a Super Bowl weekend at the store. Well, and not just at the store, but across the entire American football world, that, whoever cares, which apparently a lot of people do for some reason. I don't get it. I never have gotten it. I just played along for a long time. But not even then very well, because, just like, what's the point? I don't get it. Same thing with any organized sport. Televised. I mean, the Olympics are one thing. I like the Olympics on some of their stuff. But not like mainstream televised sports. Like, you pick teams. Like, you have some sort of investment in it. I don't know. I liked tennis. I liked running. But, yeah. Anyway. Did I have anything else to say? I don't know. Let me see. These are my notes. I have lots of notes. I don't want to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that. I wrote a haiku, but I'm not going to read it. No, but I guess I am surprising myself with how well I'm dealing with what I think might be happening. So, yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I can live with the worst case scenario, because it's not like it's the first time where I've overwhelmed somebody and they just decide to go away because it's too difficult to deal with me. So, I'll be sad, but because I really liked him. But I will live, and that's the worst case scenario. If I can already live and be okay with the worst case scenario, then I'll be okay with the best case scenario, which is just continued conversation, which is all I really wanted. And if it went further from that, that'd be different. But I just miss the conversation, having somebody to talk to that I don't have to try so hard, and they just kind of already understand me, which is different. I don't really have that. So, So as far as, like, for me, I just feel like, I'm not owed anything. I don't deserve anything. No one is under any obligation to me of any kind. But I just miss them. And I just don't like to think that they're no longer a part of my life. Like just how quickly in and out. And it's like I got a chance to know them. And that was my time. That was it. And I just hope that's not the case, and I hope I'm misinterpreting things. And I was told that I was told a lot of things about, that seemed to infer that there was some future tense, and I don't know if that changed, or they changed, or I changed, or something. But people do change, and they change their minds. So maybe something, changed their mind. But who knows? There was something else I was going to say. Yeah. But I can't think of it now. But they had a lot of value for me, added value in my life, and they mattered. And, oh yeah, something about obligation or owing, how no one does. I only want people to be around me that actually want to be around me, not because they feel like they have to be. And also about spoons. If it takes more energy, the whole thing about I'd like to be a contributor to somebody's life, not a detractor, or I'm taking. I want to be giving. And so it's like, if I'm not able to fulfill that role, then that's okay, because I don't want to be one of those people. Oh shoot, what was the other thing? I just had it, and it disappeared. Oh no. Wait a second. Something about taking, giving. Dang it. No, I'll say it again another time. Shoot. Oh, right, about ignoring. I got it. I was told that if I am just not getting any responses, or it's not that I'm being ignored. It's just they're not in an emotional or state where they can communicate very well. So they're just, so I shouldn't take it personally. So I'm hoping that's the case. I really am hoping that's the case. And so I will go on about my life as I'm going to be doing, and try not to worry so much. That it's nothing I've done. I didn't do anything wrong. I am not anything wrong. It's just, and I'm not being ignored. And it's not on purpose. It's just, they're taking care of themselves. And that's okay. Yes. Just like I do for myself. When I get stressed out and overwhelmed, I go into a protective mode, where my best ability to help others is to help myself. And sometimes that means just going away. And I will, so I understand. Like I say, it's like, there are just fundamental things that I just understand. And they don't need to be explained, I mean, a little bit does, for me to get a sense of, oh, okay. But then after that, it's like, the last thing I want is them to think that, because I have the same thing, where it's like I start to feel like people are angry at me, and then I don't want to communicate because I feel that people are angry at me, and it's like, no, I'm not angry. So I hope that comes across. But I never know. So I try to be as sensitive as I know how to be, and supportive as well. at a distance, or I don't even know. If I knew better, I would. I really would, but I don't. It's frustrating, you know, inwardly focused frustration. Because I wish I knew if there was something, and if my just going away is the best thing, then I'll do that too, and stay away. So, I don't think that's the case. I think it's just, there's stuff going on and I just don't know about it. And it's not my responsibility, and I couldn't help anyway if I knew about it. And me just doing what I'm doing and taking care of myself, that is the best thing I can do. So, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm doing. So, and this is what I'm doing on Thursday, the 4th of February, 2021. And it's probably about closing in on 9 p.m. And I'll be going into work tomorrow and taking care of business and trying to not hurt myself as much with my arm, which is feeling a lot better just by not being at work. You know, looks, even when I turn my arm a little bit, I can feel a little twinge of pain. But from other videos, you can probably see that it's not as swollen right here. So anyway, and why is it when anybody sees me nowadays, the first thing they see, they're like, they comment. It's like, and they're like, well, your hair's getting long. It's like, you haven't seen me in whatever number of months, and that's what you have. And it's like, yep, it's getting long. It tends to do that. But I am closing in on this as being the longest my hair has ever been in my entire life. Just a couple more months, probably. So this is getting into uncharted territory. It's kind of weird. And I also have noticed that different things that I never picked up on before, whereas like hair is getting in the way of eating, and now also it's getting in the way of putting in and taking out contacts. I almost like lost a contact on hair getting in the way when I'm trying to put in or take out a contact. And it's like I gotta like make sure I get the hair out of the way before I'm like messing with my eyes, or like you have to like hold back your hair or tie it back when eating. I don't know. So anyway, I'm like in a good mood for some stupid reason. I've talked myself into a better mood. I was in it already, heading towards a better mood after, but I feel like I'm communicating and speaking well for myself, and so I feel proud of myself that I'm communicating, and I'm communicating better than I've probably ever communicated at any other period in my life. And part of that is, is thank you for being a part of my life and for being there and helping me. And I hope in some way that I've helped too, because I'm not always good at helping, but I like to think, for whatever reason, I feel like sometimes I cannot help people, but I can help best the people who do help people. For whatever sense that makes. So, and by helping them, I'm providing a service. So I can't directly help people, but I can help the people who do help people. It's like facilitating or something. I don't know. It's weird. So it's like the policymakers or the change makers. I can't do anything about that, but I can help them because they're the ones that are making the decision, they're making the policy. So, I don't know, it's complicated, I guess. At least that's how I feel about it. So, with any social change, it's like I can't help anybody, but I can help the people who do. So, it's my unofficial job, I guess. One of them. Better than what I used to do. So, anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to go get this going. Probably take 4 hours to upload.